The morning sun beat down on the Indonesian research station as Dr. Na-Young Park wiped sweat from her forehead. She checked the tracking device in her hand one more time. The signal was strong. Her favorite Komodo dragon was nearby. She called him Bako, and he was the largest male dragon she had ever studied. Movement in Sector 3, her research partner Dr. Do-Hyun Kim said through the radio. His voice crackled with excitement. Bako is hunting. Want to observe? Before Na-Young could answer, a strange humming filled the air. The sound grew louder until it made her teeth vibrate. She looked up and gasped. A massive silver ship, smooth as polished metal and shaped like a perfect sphere, descended from the clouds. It was easily the size of a football field. Do-Hyun, are you seeing this? She whispered into her radio. If you mean the giant floating ball in the sky, then yes, he replied. Should we run? Na-Young stood her ground. As Earth's leading expert on Komodo dragons, she had faced these massive reptiles countless times. An alien ship, while shocking, didn't scare her as much as it probably should have. The sphere landed silently in a clearing about 50 meters away. A door materialized in its smooth surface, and 3 tall figures stepped out. They looked like walking crystals, their bodies semi-transparent and reflecting rainbow colors in the sunlight. Each one was at least 7 feet tall. Greetings, Earth scientists, the tallest crystal being said in perfect English. Its voice sounded like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. We are the Talaxian Science Council. We have come to study your world's life forms. Do-Hyun emerged from the forest to stand beside Na-Young. Neither scientist spoke for a moment, too amazed by what they were seeing. The crystal being continued. I am Chief Researcher First Class. These are my assistants. It gestured to its companions with a crystalline arm that tinkled softly. Na-Young found her voice. I'm Dr. Na-Young Park, and this is Dr. Do-Hyun Kim. We're herpetologists. We study reptiles. The crystal beings made a sound like breaking glass. Na-Young realized they were laughing. Reptiles, the chief researcher said. Why waste time studying such primitive creatures? Our data shows they are evolutionary dead ends. Cold-blooded, slow, barely mobile. Surely there are more advanced species worthy of study. Do-Hyun frowned. He pulled out his tablet and approached the aliens. I'd be interested in seeing your data. Our research shows quite different results. The chief researcher waved a dismissive hand, creating rainbow patterns in the air. Our scientific understanding is far beyond yours. We have studied millions of species across thousands of worlds. Your reptiles are among the least impressive we've encountered. Just then, a deep growling sound came from the forest. Na-Young smiled. She knew that sound well. The aliens turned toward the noise, their crystalline bodies catching the sunlight. Bako emerged from the undergrowth. The massive Komodo dragon was nearly 3 meters long, his muscular body moving with surprising grace for his size. His forked tongue flicked out, tasting the air, as he surveyed the strange visitors to his territory. The alien assistants stepped back quickly. Their bodies made tinkling sounds as they moved. Fascinating reaction, Na-Young said, noting how the aliens showed fear despite their supposed advanced knowledge. Would you like to see our data on Komodo dragon hunting behaviors? Their speed might surprise you. The chief researcher's body flickered with rainbow colors. Speed. Our measurements show Earth reptiles move at barely more than a crawl. This specimen, while large, cannot be an exception. Do-Hyun pulled up a video on his tablet. Actually, Komodo dragons can run up to. A loud alarm blared from the alien ship, cutting him off. The crystal beings turned toward their vessel as red lights flashed across its surface. We must return, the chief researcher said. There is a situation requiring our attention. We will continue this discussion later. They hurried back to their ship, though Na-Young noticed they kept glancing nervously at Bako. As the ship lifted off, Do-Hyun looked at his tablet again. Na-Young, look at this. I managed to download some of their biological database while we were talking. Their information about Earth reptiles is completely wrong. They drastically underestimated everything: speed, intelligence, hunting ability. Na-young watched the ship disappear into the clouds. Then we'll have to show them how wrong they are. She looked at Bako, who had lost interest in the departing aliens and was now sunning himself on a nearby rock. And I know just the dragon to help us do it. The next few days were busy at the research station. The Talaxians made several more visits, each time bringing different scanning equipment to study Earth's wildlife. They remained dismissive of reptiles, focusing instead on mammals and birds, which they considered more evolved. Na-young and Do-hyun carefully documented every incorrect assumption the aliens made. They were building a case, gathering evidence to challenge the Talaxians' prejudices. The aliens' database, which Do-hyun studied each night, revealed a disturbing pattern. The Talaxians had dismissed countless species across the galaxy simply because they didn't fit their narrow definition of advanced life. "Look at this," Do-hyun said one evening, showing Na-young his findings. They've classified entire planets as primitive just because the dominant species are cold-blooded. They're missing so much amazing biodiversity because of their bias. Na-young nodded, watching Bako through the window as he patrolled his territory. The huge dragon moved with fluid grace, his powerful legs carrying him effortlessly across the ground. Their mistake is thinking that different means inferior. We need to prove them wrong, not just for Earth's reptiles, but for all the species they've dismissed. The opportunity came sooner than they expected. The next morning, a larger Talaxian ship arrived, carrying members of their science council. The crystal beings set up complex equipment around the research station, preparing to conduct what they called a comprehensive survey of primitive life forms. Na-young watched them work, noting how they barely glanced at the Komodo dragons in the area. She smiled to herself. Soon, they would learn just how wrong they were about Earth's remarkable reptiles. As the sun began to set, casting orange light across the crystal beings and making them glow like flames, the chief researcher approached Na-young. "We have reviewed your research files," it said, its tone condescending. "While thorough, they clearly show the limitations of your reptilian subjects. Perhaps tomorrow we can show you some truly advanced species from other worlds." "Actually," Na-young replied, keeping her voice calm despite her frustration, "I'd like to show you something first. Would you be interested in a demonstration of Komodo dragon hunting behavior?" The crystal being made its laughing sound again. "If you insist, though I doubt we will see anything that contradicts our data." "Tomorrow morning then," Na-young said. "Bring your measuring equipment. You might need to recalibrate it." That night, as the alien ships hovered silently above the research station, Na-young and Do-hyun prepared for their demonstration. They knew they had one chance to change the Talaxians' minds, not just about Komodo dragons, but about all the species they had wrongly judged. "Are you sure about this?" Do-hyun asked as they finalized their plans. "If something goes wrong." Na-young looked up at the alien ships glinting in the moonlight. "We have to try. Sometimes the best way to fight prejudice is with proof." She checked the tracking device one last time. Bako was in his usual territory, ready to help them show the aliens just how wrong they were about Earth's remarkable reptiles. Little did the Talaxians know, tomorrow would change their understanding of life in the galaxy forever. The stage was set for a demonstration that would challenge everything they thought they knew about primitive species, and a certain Komodo dragon was about to become the star of the show. The night air filled with the sounds of the Indonesian forest, birds settling down, insects chirping, and somewhere in the darkness, the steady movement of a massive reptile preparing for another day in his territory. Tomorrow would bring surprises that even the advanced Talaxian Science Council wasn't prepared for. Their dismissive attitude toward Earth's reptiles was about to cost them their scientific credibility, all thanks to a Komodo dragon named Bako. Dawn broke over the research station with unusual activity. The Talaxian ships glowed in the early morning light, their crystal surfaces reflecting orange and pink from the sunrise. Na-young checked her equipment one final time while Do-hyun set up cameras around the demonstration area. A new figure walked up to their station. Captain Jae-ho Lee, their military liaison. He wore a crisp uniform despite the humid morning air. "The aliens are causing quite a stir," he said, looking up at the ships. "Half the world's governments are watching this demonstration. No pressure." Na-young smiled. "Thanks for the support, Captain." "I mean it," Jae-ho said. "This could change how the galaxy sees Earth. The Talaxians have influence with the Galactic Council. If we prove them wrong about their basic scientific assumptions," he left the sentence hanging. The crystal beings emerged from their ships in greater numbers than before. Today they had brought representatives from other alien species: tall, willowy beings with blue skin, short furry creatures with multiple arms, and even some that looked like floating clouds of gas. The chief researcher approached their group. Its crystal body sparkled more than usual, showing what Na-young had learned was a sign of excitement. "We have reviewed your proposal for this demonstration. While we doubt it will provide any new data, we are willing to observe." "Thank you," Na-young said. "We've prepared a course that will show typical hunting behavior. Our subject, Bako, is a mature male Komodo dragon in his prime." One of the blue-skinned aliens stepped forward. "The Talaxians tell us your reptiles are barely mobile. Why waste the council's time?" Do-hyun spoke up, holding his tablet. "Maybe we should let the data speak for itself. Our tracking system shows Bako is already in position." The aliens set up their measuring equipment, strange devices that floated in the air and emitted soft humming sounds. Na-young noticed they placed them quite far apart, clearly not expecting their subject to move quickly between tracking points. Captain Jae-ho helped coordinate the safety perimeter. They had cleared a straight path through the research area, with observation points set up at safe distances. The morning sun had risen higher, warming the air, perfect conditions for a Komodo dragon to be active. "All safety protocols are in place," Jae-ho reported. "The area is secure." Na-young nodded and stepped up to address the gathered aliens. "Today we'll demonstrate the hunting capabilities of Earth's largest lizard species. Please observe not just their speed, but their problem-solving abilities and coordination." The chief researcher made its glass-breaking laughing sound. "Our measurements show your largest reptiles move at approximately 2 of your Earth miles per hour. Hardly impressive." "Then your equipment should have no trouble tracking this," Do-hyun said, pressing a button on his tablet. A simple target system they had set up began to move along the course. It dragged a scent trail that Na-young knew would catch Bako's attention. The aliens watched with obvious boredom, their various forms shifting restlessly. Then Bako burst from the undergrowth. The massive Komodo dragon moved like a living torpedo, his powerful legs driving him forward at shocking speed. The aliens' measuring devices let out alarmed beeping sounds as they tracked his movement. His muscular body, nearly 3 meters long, covered ground with incredible efficiency. "Impossible," one of the crystal assistants chimed. "The speed readings must be wrong." But Bako wasn't done. The target system turned sharply, and the huge lizard matched the movement perfectly. His claws dug into the ground as he changed direction, maintaining his explosive speed. The alien observers backed away as he passed their position, their bodies showing signs of stress. The crystal beings flickered rapidly, the blue-skinned aliens turned pale, and the gas clouds condensed in surprise. "Current speed," Do-hyun announced, reading from his tablet, 12 miles per hour. The chief researcher's body made a sound like cracking ice. "Our equipment must be malfunctioning. No cold-blooded creature can." Bako cut off its words by demonstrating another burst of speed, this time weaving between obstacles they had set up. The huge dragon showed not just raw speed, but amazing agility for his size. His forked tongue flicked out constantly, tracking the target with deadly accuracy. "Natural biochemical analysis," one of the alien scientists reported, its crystal form vibrating with excitement. "Subject is producing complex compounds. Highly sophisticated venom system detected. Na-young smiled. They were finally starting to see what made Komodo dragons so remarkable. The venom glands are just part of it, she said. Watch his problem-solving ability. The target system had led Bako to a simple maze they had constructed. The aliens watched in shock as the huge reptile paused, lifted his head to taste the air, then chose the most direct route through the obstacle. He didn't just follow the scent trail. He predicted where his target would emerge and moved to intercept it. Intelligence readings are far beyond our previous classifications, another alien scientist reported. Its gas cloud form swirled in agitation. Spatial awareness, problem-solving, speed, strength, all exceeding parameters for primitive species. Captain Jai-ho stepped forward. Perhaps it's time to reconsider those classifications. The chief researcher's crystal body had stopped sparkling, now showing deep swirls of confused colors. This changes so much of our data. If we were this wrong about Earth's reptiles, then you might be wrong about other species you've dismissed. Na-young finished. She gestured to where Bako had completed the course and was now resting in the sun, his sides barely showing his exertion. Every species on Earth has surprised us with their capabilities. Maybe it's time for a galaxy-wide review of your classification system. The alien observers gathered in excited groups, their various forms showing signs of agitation and interest. The crystal beings' bodies chimed constantly as they discussed among themselves. The blue-skinned aliens were rapidly taking notes on strange floating screens. Even the gas clouds seemed to be buzzing with energy. Do-hyun approached Na-young with his tablet. Look at this. They're already updating their galaxy-wide database. Reptilian species are being reclassified across the board. Earth just caused a scientific revolution without even trying. Captain Jai-ho smiled. Not bad for a day's work. Though I think Bako deserves most of the credit. The chief researcher approached their group again, its crystal form now showing bands of deep blue. A sign of respect. Na-young had learned. We owe you an apology, Earth scientists. Our prejudices blinded us to remarkable capabilities. The Galactic Council will want a full report on this demonstration. We're happy to share all our research, Na-young said, though you might want to stick around for tomorrow's demonstration too. Wait until you see how fast a black mamba can strike. The crystal being's form flickered rapidly, the equivalent of a nervous swallow. Perhaps our classification system needs more extensive revision than we thought. As the alien observers continued to discuss their findings, Na-young walked over to where Bako was resting. The huge dragon lifted his head as she approached, his ancient eyes regarding her calmly. Thanks to him, the galaxy was starting to learn what Earth scientists had known for years. That life had many ways of being remarkable, and primitive was just another word for not yet understood. The day wasn't over yet. News of the demonstration was spreading through the alien ships, and more observers were arriving every hour. Earth's reptiles had earned the galaxy's attention, and Na-young knew this was just the beginning. Soon, every primitive species the Talaxians had dismissed would have their chance to show their true capabilities. Captain Jai-ho joined her by Bako's resting spot. The Galactic Council is calling an emergency session. Apparently, they need to revise quite a few of their species' protection laws. He grinned. Who knew making aliens run away in fear could be so productive? They didn't run away, Na-young corrected him. They just learned to respect Earth's wildlife. Though I notice none of them are standing very close to Bako. The huge Komodo dragon flicked his tongue out lazily, tasting the air filled with exotic alien scents. He might not know it, but he had just changed how the galaxy viewed life itself. Not bad for a primitive reptile. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, more alien ships appeared in the air above the research station. Word was spreading fast about the Earth reptile that had shattered the Talaxians' classification system. Tomorrow would bring new demonstrations, new discoveries, and new respect for Earth's amazing biodiversity. The galaxy was finally learning what Earth scientists had always known. Never judge a species by your own limitations. News of Bako's performance spread quickly through the galaxy. Within days, the research station became the center of attention for alien scientists. Ships of all shapes and sizes filled the sky above the Indonesian forest. Ne Young had never seen anything like it. Another group of researchers just arrived, Du Hyun said, checking his tablet. These ones are from a water world. They look like giant octopi. He paused. They want to know if Komodo dragons can swim. Ne Young smiled. Should we show them? The research station had grown into a proper facility. The Talaxian Science Council had brought advanced equipment and built observation platforms around the dragon habitat. Captain Jiho had his hands full managing security for all the alien visitors. The Galactic Council wants a formal demonstration, Jiho told them one morning. They're sending their top scientists. This is our chance to change things for Earth. Ne Young watched Bako through the observation window. The huge dragon was doing his morning patrol, moving with the same powerful grace that had shocked the aliens before. Then let's give them a show they'll never forget. The day of the formal demonstration arrived with perfect weather. The morning sun warmed the air quickly, making it ideal for cold-blooded activity. Alien ships covered the sky like clouds, their different designs showing the diversity of species who had come to watch. The Galactic Council representatives gathered in the main observation area. There were beings of all kinds. Some looked like living crystals like the Talaxians, others were made of pure energy, and some didn't seem to have physical forms at all. The chief researcher, who had first dismissed Earth's reptiles, now stood with Ne Young and Du Hyun. Its crystal form showed deep blues of respect. We have updated all our data based on your research, it said. But many council members still doubt. They need to see for themselves. Do Hyun had prepared a more complex demonstration course this time. It would show not just Bako's speed, but also his intelligence, hunting ability, and problem-solving skills. They had added water obstacles, climbing challenges, and even some simple puzzles that would require thinking to solve. The course is ready, Du Hyun reported. Bako is in position. Captain Jiho checked the security measures one last time. All safety protocols are active. The observation barriers will protect our guests, though I doubt they'll need them. Most of them seem too scared to get close. He was right. The alien observers kept well back from the course, their various forms showing signs of nervousness. The Talaxians had shared videos of the first demonstration, and none of the visitors wanted to be too near when the primitive reptile showed its true capabilities. Ne Young stepped forward to address the gathered aliens. Today we will demonstrate the full range of Komodo dragon abilities. Please pay attention not just to physical performance, but to decision-making and adaptive behavior. She nodded to Du Hyun, who activated the course. Complex scent trails and moving targets began their programmed paths. Hidden cameras would catch every detail of Bako's performance. At first, nothing happened. The alien observers started to shift restlessly. Then one of the energy beings called out in alarm. Bako had appeared without warning, moving so smoothly that even the advanced alien sensors hadn't detected him. The huge dragon paused at the course entrance, his forked tongue testing the air. The alien's measuring devices hummed as they recorded everything: his body temperature, muscle movements, neural activity. Bako ignored them all, focused entirely on the challenge ahead. The first target started moving, and Bako exploded into action. His massive body covered ground with incredible speed, claws digging into the earth for traction. The aliens' instruments screamed as they recorded speeds they had believed impossible for a primitive reptile. 12 miles per hour. Du Hyun called out. Sustained speed during pursuit. But raw speed was just the beginning. The course led to a water obstacle, and Bako dove in without hesitation. The octopus-like aliens watched in amazement as the huge reptile swam with powerful grace, moving faster in the water than many aquatic species. Remarkable adaptation to multiple environments, one of the council scientists noted. perfect temperature regulation during transition from land to water. Bako emerged from the water and faced the puzzle section. The target was visible, but blocked by barriers. To reach it, he would need to figure out the correct path. The dragon paused, lifted his head, and tasted the air carefully. "Watch this," Young said quietly. Instead of following the scent trail through the maze, Bako backed up several steps. The aliens murmured in confusion. Then, with another burst of speed, the huge dragon ran straight up one of the barrier walls, using his claws for grip, and leaped over the entire puzzle section. "Problem solved," Captain Jaiho said with a grin. Just not the way anyone expected. The council members were showing clear signs of shock. The energy beings pulsed with rapid colors. The crystal forms chimed in excitement. Even the formless ones seemed to ripple with surprise. "Intelligence test results off the scale," a council scientist reported. "Subject is not just following instinct. It's learning, adapting, creating new solutions." Beko wasn't finished. The final part of the course involved multiple moving targets, testing his ability to track and make decisions. The huge dragon showed perfect awareness of his surroundings, adjusting his speed and position to cut off escape routes and conserve energy. "Notice the hunting strategy," Young pointed out. "He's not just chasing, he's predicting movement patterns and positioning himself for maximum efficiency." The demonstration ended with Bako catching the final target. He had completed the course in record time, showing abilities that defied all the aliens' previous beliefs about reptilian capabilities. The Galactic Council representatives gathered in excited discussion. Their various forms moved and shifted as they shared data and revised long-held theories. Young could see that Earth's position in the galaxy was about to change dramatically. The chief researcher approached their group again. "We have made a decision," it announced. "Earth will be reclassified as a Class A biological preserve. Your planet's biodiversity and the capabilities of your species demand the highest level of protection and study." Captain Jaiho smiled. "That's quite a promotion from primitive, isn't it?" Additionally, the crystal being continued, "We request permission to establish a permanent research center here. The Galactic Council believes Earth has much to teach us about the true nature of intelligence and adaptation." Young looked at Bako, who had returned to his favorite sunning spot. The huge dragon seemed completely unconcerned about the scientific revolution he had just caused. To him, it had just been another day of showing what Earth's reptiles could do. "We would be happy to continue sharing our research," she said, "though you might want to prepare yourselves. We haven't even shown you our fastest reptiles yet." The chief researcher's crystal form flickered nervously. "There are faster ones." Do-hyun checked his tablet with a grin. "Wait until they see the black mamba demonstration tomorrow. Anyone want to guess its striking speed?" The alien scientists looked at each other uneasily. Their previous certainty about Earth's primitive species had been completely shattered. Now they faced the exciting but humbling prospect of learning just how wrong they had been about life in the galaxy. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the research station, Young felt a deep sense of satisfaction. Earth's reptiles had proven themselves on a galactic stage. More importantly, they had taught the galaxy a valuable lesson about making assumptions and dismissing unfamiliar forms of life. Bako's demonstration had opened new doors for Earth's future in the galactic community, and somewhere in the Indonesian forest, a huge Komodo dragon continued his daily routine, unaware that he had just changed the course of scientific history. 1 month after Bako's famous demonstration, the Indonesian research station had grown into the largest alien scientific facility on Earth. Crystal towers rose above the forest canopy, their surfaces reflecting the morning sun. Ships from across the galaxy came and went constantly, bringing new researchers eager to study Earth's remarkable reptiles. Young sat in her new office, surrounded by advanced alien technology. She looked through the window at Bako's enclosure, where the huge dragon was teaching the aliens another lesson about reptilian intelligence. He had figured out how to open the new feeding stations by watching the handlers do it just once. "The Galactic Council's report is ready," Du Hyun said, entering the office with his tablet. "They're calling it the Komodo paradigm. It's changing everything about how they classify life in the universe." Captain Jeho joined them, wearing his new uniform as Earth's liaison to the alien scientists. "Not just classification," he said. "They're finding similar prejudices in their exploration protocols, first contact procedures, even their trading policies. Turns out they've been underestimating a lot of species, not just our reptiles." Nagung smiled. "All because one Komodo dragon showed them they were wrong." The chief researcher entered the office, its crystal form now permanently tinted with the deep blues of respect. "We have completed our review of Earth's other reptile species," it announced. "The results are humbling." Do Hyun pulled up the data on a floating holographic screen. Black mambas striking at 12 feet per second. Monitor lizards solving complex puzzles. Sea turtles navigating across entire oceans. Every test shows abilities far beyond your original classifications. "The Galactic Council has voted to establish Earth as the center for biological research in this sector of the galaxy," the chief researcher said. "If you are willing, Dr. Park, we would like you to lead the new facility." Naeung looked at the alien scientist in surprise. "Me? But surely there are more qualified researchers in the galaxy." The crystal being made a gentle chiming sound, a laugh of friendship rather than dismissal now. "You saw the truth when we were blinded by prejudice. You showed us that different does not mean primitive. There is no one more qualified." Captain Jeho grinned. Earth's reptile expert, now running a galactic research center. Not bad for a month's work. A young alien scientist rushed into the office, its gas cloud form swirling with excitement. "Dr. Park, you must come see this. The Komodo dragon. It's teaching the younger ones how to use the feeding stations." They hurried to the observation area. Sure enough, Bako was demonstrating the opening mechanism to two younger dragons, showing patience and deliberate movements that proved reptilian intelligence yet again. "Social learning," Du Hyun said, taking notes. "They're not just smart. They can pass knowledge to others." The chief researcher's crystal form sparkled with interest. "Every day they show us something new. To think we almost dismissed them as unworthy of study." Naeung watched Bako work with the younger dragons. "That's why the Komodo paradigm is so important. It reminds us to look deeper, to question our assumptions about what makes a species advanced." The news spread quickly through the galaxy. Species that had been ignored or dismissed because they were too primitive were being rediscovered. Planets that had been passed over for colonization were found to have rich, complex ecosystems. The galaxy was waking up to the true diversity of life. At the research station, work continued. New aliens arrived every day, eager to learn from Earth's reptiles. The Talaxians had become some of the strongest supporters of the new approach to biological research, their crystal forms now showing the colors of curiosity rather than prejudice. One evening, as the sun set behind the crystal towers, Naeung found Bako in his favorite spot. The huge dragon lifted his head as she approached, his ancient eyes holding wisdom that the aliens were only now beginning to understand. "You changed everything, you know," she told him softly. "You showed them that they were wrong about cold-blooded creatures, wrong about Earth, wrong about how they judge intelligence and advancement." Bako flicked his tongue out lazily, tasting the air that now carried the scents of a dozen alien species. To him, nothing had changed. He was still the same powerful, intelligent creature he had always been. The only difference was that now the galaxy could see it too. Do Hyun joined her by the enclosure. "The new research teams are arriving tomorrow. They want to study everything. Hunting patterns, social behavior, problem-solving abilities. Earth's reptiles are becoming the most studied species in the galaxy." "And to think," Captain Jeho added, walking up, "it all started because some aliens thought reptiles were slow. The chief researcher approached their group, its crystal form glowing softly in the twilight. "We have learned a greater lesson than just speed," it said. "We learned that intelligence, adaptation, and advancement can take many forms. Thanks to your Komodo dragon, the galaxy is finally ready to see them all." Young looked at the research station, now a beacon of galactic science. Alien ships moved against the darkening sky, their lights joining the first stars of evening. Earth had found its place in the galaxy, not through advanced technology or space travel, but through the simple truth of its amazing biodiversity. In his enclosure, Bako settled down for the night. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new observers, new chances to show what Earth's reptiles could do. The galaxy was watching now, finally ready to learn from species they had once dismissed as primitive. The Komodo paradigm had changed everything. Scientists across the galaxy now approached new species with open minds, ready to be surprised and amazed. And it all began because a group of aliens made a simple mistake. They thought reptiles were slow, until a Komodo dragon proved them wrong. As night fell over the research station, the crystal towers glowed with soft light. Inside, scientists from 100 worlds studied data about Earth's remarkable reptiles. They had learned their lesson well. Never judge a species by your own limitations. The galaxy was full of wonders if you just knew how to look for them. And somewhere in the darkness, a huge Komodo dragon named Bako slept peacefully, unaware that he had changed the course of galactic history. He had simply done what his kind had done for millions of years, shown the world that Earth's reptiles were far more remarkable than anyone had imagined.